What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel, and of course, this is the Daily Vlog Live. I think we're up to episode 186 today. It is August 30th, 2018, and I Am Ruts is first through the door. Phil Yarn, before he goes to work. What is up, Phil, as you get ready for work? What is it like knowing you got to go to work pretty soon? You know what I used to hate, man? I used to work nights, right? I used to actually work at a place that was very similar to Best Buy. This was like way back in the days in California, and I think it was like actually a West Coast chain. There was a chain of electronic stores called The Good Guys. The Good Guys. I used to call them Goodfellas, but oh, he's already at work already. Yeah, so I used to work at this place called The Good Guys, right? And I would work at night. And so my shift would start at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and then I'd be working till like 11 or whatever it was, right? And I hated that. I hated it because I couldn't enjoy myself earlier in the day. You know, someone would call me up and be like, hey man, let's go see a movie or something. And I'm like, nah, dude, I got to go to work. And so it was like I always had that cloud that was hanging over my head. Like, work is coming up. I got to deal with work. I can't really enjoy myself. I used to hate that crap. I prefer really to like get up, you know, work like 8 to 5 or something. And then you get off work and then you can just chill. Now, what I'm doing now, I'm always at work basically and always off of work. It's kind of a really weird thing. Gerard O'Hara, what's up, guys? A nurse, work long hours. Glad to be here tonight. Keep up the great job, Anthony. Yeah, it's, you know, we all have our different hours, our different situations. I know people that work graveyard shifts and they're perfectly cool with it. So it's all gravy, whatever happens. But let me go ahead and throw on my normal little intro here, and we'll get the show started. Oops, I got to resize this. I forgot that Ken video was out of whack. There we go. I should get better at this stuff, you'd think, after a while, but I haven't really learned it too much. But yeah, this is VR Game Rankings. And this is the Daily Vlog Live, episode 186 for Thursday, August 30th. And this is going to be one of these shows that I like to call a shit show because I don't really have much planned. Sometimes I'll come into these shows and I actually have a number of different stories to go to. I've got a number of various montages to play and topics to talk about. And today, I'm pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel, just getting started here. So we'll just kind of go with the flow, so to speak. But we do have a little bit of news in the VR world. And this trailer right here is actually this game called Mind Labyrinth something something, which looks pretty cool. I think I've shown this one before. I like these kind of games. It reminds me of Zing. Like, have you guys noticed in VR just being placed in a beautiful environment with like really nice background music? You don't even need to be a game, really. I mean, in VR, because the thing people don't understand about VR, we don't have to have constant fast action, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We don't have to have that, because when you're in VR, it's you physically walking around. And think about it. When are you in a situation in real life where you're walking around and you're dodging gunshots and there's dive bombers overhead and there's explosions? I mean, when is that actually happening in our regular real lives? And that doesn't really happen in our regular real lives. But we walk around, we open things up, we pick things up, we look at things. And that's why I think this stuff is so cool in VR and why I look forward to these kinds of experiences. Now, it's cool if they give me an adventure, something to look for, something to gather. This is Mind Labyrinth VR Dreams. It has some really nice music, an amazing VR experience. I have no idea. You know, this is a new game that's coming out. I'm just throwing this trailer randomly on, but looks kind of cool. I think that's coming sometime later in September, if I'm not mistaken. So we do have some cool stuff to look forward to. Okay, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into the actual news story that I do have, there is one little bit of news that is going on, and Apple is in the news. They have purchased a new company called Akonia Holographics. And so Akonia is a company similar to, doing waveguides, basically, similar to Magic Leap, similar to what Microsoft is doing with the HoloLens. I believe that is the CEO, Ken Anderson, maybe. Might have that name wrong, but I believe that is the CEO of Akonia. And they're in the news because Apple did purchase them outright. And anytime stuff like this happens, you have to wonder, what is this signaling? Is this signaling something major that is going to come via Apple? Or is this much ado about nothing? Of course, a lot of these companies will buy companies like this all the time, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Yeah, this is Ken Anderson, incredible kicker in the NFL back in the days, but also the CEO of Akonia. No, it's not the same Ken Anderson, but yeah, this is a startup based in Longmont, Colorado. And if you go to the Oculus Rift subreddit, there is an article by VentureBeat about Akonia that was written by Dean Takahashi back in late 2016. And it's talking about Akonia and the stuff that they're doing. And they're basically making these holographic reflective waveguide optics, transparent display elements for smart glasses. They've been doing this for a while now, and Apple goes ahead and snags them. And obviously, I think there's no question that what we're looking at here is eventually Apple is going to get into the game that Magic Leap is in and that Microsoft is in, of course, with HoloLens. Apple has to look at this situation. They need to defend the throne. They're always at war. They're always endangered from the standpoint that everybody wants what Apple has. Everybody wants a piece of Apple's pie. Everybody wants to try to emulate Apple. You see it in commercials. Look at Oculus. Everything has like a white background. It's kind of that Apple style. And, Apple has to defend the throne, and they have the throne. Clearly, there's no real threat to them, but in the next 10 years, we probably will make a migration from looking down at our smartphones to simply having some type of smart glass, some type of sunglasses that everybody will be wearing around, just because they will be generating so much information, shooting it to us real time about our surroundings, people's names, where we know them from. I mean, you'll be able to go to a party and not have to remember anybody's name, and you're going to be looking around the party and it's just going to boop, 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 boop. Little names will be popping up over everybody's heads. You'll know exactly, like it'll zoom in Terminator style on the buffet and let you know all the food that is being served at the buffet. It'll let you know what temperature those barbecue wings are, how long they've been sitting there. I mean, AR, you got to understand, folks, AR is going to eventually dominate everything. And so we're far away, though. We're probably like 7-8 years away. And I talk about this in relationship to VR as well, that we are in what I like to call the Atari 2600 era of VR. AR, shit, I mean, we're not even really up to Atari 2600. We're basically space war with AR. But with VR, I think we're in the Atari 2600 era, and we're basically looking for our pitfall. We want our pitfall, and I don't think we have it yet. I think we're looking for our pitfall. I don't think we have it yet. I think we have Air-Sea Battle. I think we have Indy 500. I think we have basketball, baseball. I mean, we are in the generic Space Invaders era of the Atari 2600. We don't have pitfall. We don't have the advanced games yet. And AR, we're not even up to the 2600 level. We're like Odyssey Magnavox or something. So all of this is going to happen, though, over the next 10 years with Magic Leap. Apple is going to get into the game. The cool thing about Apple getting into the game, they may be the last one to enter the field, but they're going to enter the field with tremendous force. And there's just so many people that have bought in to the Apple ecosystem, the Apple idea, and they just support Apple. It's like an unconscious thing. I'm not an Apple guy. I've always tried to resist Apple. I really have. I do have an iPhone right now, but man, I'm not really an Apple guy. I never wanted to be an Apple guy, but God, do they have their followers. So when they come down the pipe, it's going to be pretty awesome, because it's going to kind of kickstart that whole thing. And I am looking forward to that. But this is a long-term deal. Nothing to get excited about as far as Akonia holographics. Okay, so let's see what else is going on in the news. Let me just go ahead and bounce over to the Vive subreddit. I'll see if there's anything live that's going on to talk about. Maybe a trailer we can grab. Let's see. Our first project is out today, a free VR adventure, Pros Prologue. So Pros is a game that was announced recently. I don't think I've shown that trailer actually on this show. Let me see if I can grab a Pros trailer real quick. Because it does look pretty cool. Hold on a sec here. Pros VR. Yeah, Pros video game. Okay, so this is the prologue that we're going to get today. I'm going to grab a trailer from 2 weeks ago. And we'll pop this in. I don't think I've played this trailer, have I? Or maybe I played it last week. But I'll go ahead and grab that trailer. Let's see what else is going on over here. There is some talk about the 2080. A leaked 3D benchmark shows only a 5% improvement over the 1080 Ti. And this is kind of what I was talking about that other show when I got into these NVIDIA cards. All these cards that are coming out right around September 20th. You got the 1080 Ti, the 2080 Ti, the 2080, and then the 2070 is coming later. And this leaked benchmark, apparently from a Thailand-based overclocker by the name of Tum Apisak, claims to have recorded an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080. Now, this is a regular 2080, and it outpaces the 1080 Ti by roughly 500 points, which is quite lame. But that, of course, is the standard 2080. What about the 2080 Ti? So we're waiting to see about that. But that was kind of my take in regards to these new graphics cards. That's why I want to buy one of you guys out there that wants to pawn off your 1080 Ti for like pennies on the dollar. That's what I want to do. I want to buy one of your guys' 1080 Ti's. You can go ahead and get the 2080 Ti. You can be on the cutting edge with Virtual Link and all that fancy schmancy stuff. And I'm going to take your 1080 Ti, and I think I'm going to get like 90% of what you're getting dramatically cheaper. But hey, you'll rest assured you'll sleep better at night knowing that you're getting everything you can possibly get out of the experience. And that is a good thing, right? Okay, so let's check out this Pros trailer, which I don't think I've shown this already. Hopefully, I'm not treading over the same territory, but the prologue is out today. Now I gotta find where I put the trailer. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Anatoly's story. Let's go ahead and check this out real quick. I think this came out when I was in Hawaii.
I was in charge of the PR-03E experiment. One day, my fears turned into reality.
I'm leaving the guidelines and instructions in case I fail, and the PR-03E experiment will be executed.
My name is Anatoly Sklodowski. This peaceful research turned into the military's technology development. They forced me to create a weapon, an uncontrolled weapon. I gathered the people I could trust and started the disclosure campaign. We had
I like this music.
To protect ourselves and our families.
Stranger Things much?
We were so close to revealing the conspiracy. It was a war. A war between a few men and the Soviet system. We called ourselves pros.
Yeah, so there is a free prologue, which is available today for this game. I'm going to try to download it later, check it out later today. I'm excited about this because this does look pretty good. I saw the trailer for this when I was in Hawaii. I believe this was like announced on Upload VR at one of the days when I was in Hawaii. I saw this, checked out the trailer. I was like, this game looks pretty good. Don't believe I've mentioned this on this show so far, but we have the prologue today, and then I believe in November, the game is actually entering early access. I love having a radio in VR. Who else loves having a radio in VR and actually turning the dials? That's pretty cool. I like to hear sound coming out of a radio and taking my radio and like moving it around and be like, does that sound kind of accurate? Does this sound kind of accurate? Does this sound kind of accurate? I like doing that with my radio. But November, this enters early access. It's a two-man team. It looks like an ambitious looking game. I like it. Looks pretty cool. I mean, based on these trailers and stuff, have no idea. It could be absolute garbage. But prologue is out today, so definitely check that out if you have an opportunity. I believe it's free, so it's kind of like it's basically a demo, really, probably. So that is out today. That's in the news a little bit. Let me see what else is going on the Vive subreddit right now. They're talking about a casual VR cooking game, Puppy Chef Academy. I could grab this trailer. Let me go ahead and grab this trailer. Looks very generic. This looks really, really basic. But I'll go ahead and grab it anyway. And let's see, what else do we have? Let's see. Is good VR content finally flowing at a steady pace? This is one of the threads that is out on the Vive subreddit. And I'd probably have to say, yeah. I mean, it seems like freaking games are coming out every single day. This one guy's talking about good games in September that he's looking forward to. Chiro and the Elixir of Life, Zero Caliber, Protocol, Jet Island. You also have virtual reality coming to Vive players in September. Creed is coming September 25th. We've got a lot of stuff that is coming in September. It's actually kind of a bit ridiculous here. So I think there's a lot of stuff available right now. Let me see what else, if I had any other additional stories I wanted to pop in real quick before we go back. Yeah, no, I guess that was pretty much it. But let's go ahead and check out this Puppy Chef Academy release trailer. Wow, look at those production values. Looks absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it looks kind of weak. Not really feeling that one. Okay, let's see. What else do we got? Well, let me go ahead and check chat. Let's see what people are talking about in chat. Waiting for the Digital Foundry guys to look at the 2080 Ti first. Crunchy says CD Projekt Red said they have no plans for VR. Yeah, unfortunately, Cyberpunk 2077, no plans for VR as far as that is concerned. Cool video on Digital Foundry on RTX Battlefield 5 gameplay out yesterday. Okay, let me see. I'll go ahead and grab. I mean, this is a slow day right now in terms of stuff popping off. So if you guys have any videos that you want to get on the screen, we can go ahead and do that. It's no problem. We look up Digital Foundry. Yeah, here it is. The Battlefield 5 RTX gameplay. I'll go ahead and grab a little bit of this. Let me get that queued in. All right, so back to chat. Terry Blanchard says, looks really cool. I think he's talking about the Pros game and not this puppy chef game. Crunchy says, well, Cyberpunk 2077 is a few years out, so maybe VR will take off and they will add VR. That's very possible, actually. In fact, if you think about it, any game that is coming out after, say, 2020 probably should strongly consider VR. Crunchy says, my daughter would like this game, I think. Yeah. It does look like the kind of game. Like, I mean, it's super cutesy. It almost looks like a Nintendo Wii game. Note to self, buy more disk space. Where are the puppies? They're cooking the puppies. No, that would be terrible. I remember I saw this like fake Faces of Death video where this lady was cooking up puppies, but I know it was totally fake. Like, it had to be so fake. But we're downloading that Battlefield 5 RTX gameplay video. A stunning example of PC ray tracing. The thing about it though is, like, yeah, this video might be super cool for Battlefield on the brand new process, on the brand new GPU, but that's for flat gaming. We're not really going to get that in VR. Chris Cox says it would be a massive job to add VR to Cyberpunk. It isn't going to happen. Well, I mean, there could be a possibility that they could scale it down. They could scale down the experience and somehow get it into VR. It would definitely be watered down to a significant degree. Okay, let's go ahead and check out this Battlefield 5 thing. Let's see where the state-of-the-art graphics are
As announced
nowadays.
right before Gamescom in Cologne, DICE and NVIDIA have teamed up to bring ray tracing support to Battlefield 5 through the DXR API as part of DirectX 12. We at Digital Foundry had the chance to play the game in a closed-door session and ask direct questions to the graphics engineers responsible for the implementation, so we could learn how it works, how they felt about ray tracing in general, and their plans for it for the future in terms of performance and features. With that kind of access,
Yeah, you know, it looks pretty. It certainly looks pretty, but I don't really play flat games, so it doesn't really mean anything to me, because unless it's coming to VR, and ray tracing in VR is a non-starter, I think, for probably a couple of years. So that's problematic. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty much don't have any news stories to go into, which definitely sucks. So let me just go ahead and grab a random trailer to throw on here. Well, actually, we can leave this Battlefield trailer running on in the background. We can leave that there. Let's see. Anyone know if EA are planning any further Star Wars VR DLCs in the near future? Not that I know of. Yeah, so let me go ahead and bounce to... Actually, let's go to Upload VR and see what they're talking about. So Upload VR has, I don't know if they have like a new podcast that they're talking about. Oculus bringing Windlands 2, Seeking Dawn, and more to PAX West. Windlands 2, you know, what about Windlands 2? I mean, how long has it been since we've heard anything about Windlands 2? That game was announced so long ago and we haven't seen hardly anything on it. So hopefully, Unknown Fate is out next month. Unknown Fate by Mars Lit. Let me see if I can grab a trailer for that. This is another game that has been like delayed, perennially delayed. I can grab this upload VR trailer of it. But yeah, Unknown Fate, that's a game we were tracking a long time ago. And it appears it's finally going to be released. That's good news. Let me grab this trailer. Okay, so let's see if they give us an exact date for it. Unknown Fate, September. The game, which is published by 1C Company, arrives on September 6th for $15, with optional support for the HTC Vive on PC. Oculus Rift support is supposedly on the way. It also has support for Toby's eye tracking. But yeah, so that is September 6th. So, I mean, this is just around the corner for Unknown Fate. Let me go ahead and throw that trailer on.
Do you remember now?
Hybrid Energy, this is Unknown Fate, which comes out on September 6th. This game was delayed forever. Marslit Games is a developer. Looks very puzzly.
You simply believed all the lies they told you.
Yeah, it does have Toby eye tracking, but what supports Toby eye tracking right now? It's kind of interesting. That is going to be available on September 6th, supporting Toby eye tracking. But is there a headset that supports Toby eye tracking that is available on that day? I wonder if, does this mean something? That would be freaking cool. It's like, spoilers, IFA, there's going to be an eye tracking headset that will be available this fall. But yeah, this looks decent. And, you know, it reminds me, looking at this video, it actually reminds me a little bit of Torn to a slight degree. Not the character that's walking around in here, but that type of stuff kind of reminds me of Torn. It kind of reminds me of the Gallery. Tons of puzzlers, Zing, The Land Beyond. We've got a lot of puzzle-type games. This is $15, so you come in at a $15 price, and you don't have to like completely overwhelm your audience. You just have to deliver a pretty decent game, because pricing is a big part of it. You know, I feel like I'm much more lenient if a game is below $20. This one's below $15. So Unknown Fate looks like it might be decent in a couple of days, really, like a week or so, right? September 6th. But you know what? Why don't we go ahead and get into Torn a little bit, because that is the game that I played yesterday, because I barely scratched the surface of Torn that first day. And so yesterday after my show, I didn't play anything else. I didn't play Bout of Blood yesterday. I didn't play Wolfenstein 3D. I played Torn. And I wrote some thoughts about Torn. I wrote some thoughts about what I think are the best things about Torn and the worst things about Torn. And basically what we can kind of do here is we can kind of go back and forth. We can talk about the best things and the worst things. So for me, I would say the single biggest negative that I experienced with Torn is camera problems. So I'm like walking down a hallway. Is anybody else experiencing this? I don't know if this is just me on my 970, or maybe something's kind of screwy, or it just needs an update or whatever. But my biggest irritation with Torn is I'm walking down a hallway, or I'm walking through a room, and then all of a sudden my view just goes shook, shook, shook. My view just like flops somewhere, and it's like, what? I didn't do. Like, why is it doing that? I didn't do that. My view just goes chook, chook, chook. And then also I'll be walking along, and it seems like all of a sudden I'm 5 feet in a different part of the room all of a sudden. So it's like, you know, I'm walking along, and then wait, how did I get over here? How did I get facing this direction? So there's some really weird camera problems, glitchiness with my perspective. That is absolutely gotta be my biggest disappointment with the game so far. But the game is good enough that I'm able to overlook that. So that is a minor irritant. If they ever fix that, that would be huge, because the one thing that Torn does have, and it has it in spades, is production values. Torn's production values are really good. Now, another negative is people are going to talk about the voice acting, especially of the female actress, that it throws you out of an immersion loop when you hear her quips and stuff. But I think part of it is the fact that you guys were already complaining about her voice acting. Hybrid Energy saying, worst thing is that women's voice. I Am Rut says, the worst thing about Torn is the actress. Horrible acting. It's funny you guys say that, because I think you guys saying that before I had ever played it makes me think that it's not as bad as you guys are talking about. And I think it's because I've already got warned, and I was expecting it to be super, super horrible. And I don't think, I mean, it might screw with your immersion a little bit, especially because, you know, if you're a guy and you're hearing a female speak, that does disturb your immersion a little bit. Some games will give you the option of having a male or female character, but I can roll with a game like this, and I feel like the production value, like the voice work, just the sound quality of all the little sound effects, the background music, and the music in general. This is a stirring game. It's up there, in my opinion, with stuff like The Gallery Episode 2, with Zing the Land Beyond. You know, it has Red Matter. It kind of like the music and sound effects and stuff. I think this is another quality game. But going to the negative side of the thing, while I can compare this game to Red Matter and The Gallery, I don't think it's as good as those games. Like, I don't think it's as good as Red Matter. I don't think it's as good as The Gallery Episode 2. But I put it in a similar category, which is impressive enough just to be up there with other really high-end games like that. But it is $30. You know, it is $30. Let's see what people are talking about over here. Hybrid Energy says, I don't think it's the gender. I think she just over has bad acting, like overacting, bad acting. The game environments are amazing. Yeah. So the other problems I had with this game is that you get to these different rooms, and there's basically these puzzles that are on the ground. You have your little glowing stick, and you can levitate stuff. Paradise Decay was talking about this yesterday, about how he got a Half-Life 2 vibe, you know, levitating things all over the place, lifting things up, setting them down. And that is very true. And the first day I played it, I had barely gotten my levitating stick and hadn't used it all that much that first day. Yesterday, I was using it all day long. And so all I'm doing is levitating stuff all over the place. And you'll get to a new room, and there's couches and furnitures and coffee cups and wine bottles and plates. And you grab everything, you can lift it up, and you can fly it all around. You know, you can zoom it back, zoom it that way. And there's these pressure points on the ground where you have to put certain amounts of pressure, and it activates like this battery-controlled thing. And then you find these suitcases that happen to have a giant socket on the back of it that lines up. And so you're solving these puzzles. You're going from room to room, and you're solving these puzzles. But if I was to to go negative on Torn, I would say that the puzzles are incredibly simple. Like, well, all the puzzles that I've encountered so far, I mean, it's simply a matter of following the green line, seeing what the next socket is that you need, finding whatever item is in the room that has that socket underneath it, putting it there, twisting it around. I mean, it's ABC, it's 1, 2, 3. So the puzzles so far, incredibly simplistic, but the environments, the overall story, you're dealing with this AI guy that is like trapped, and he wants to be released, and he wants to like save his wife or whatever. Hybrid Energy says he spent 20 minutes playing dominoes with all the books. Yeah, you know, another really nice thing about Torn is the physics. The physics of moving all these physical objects around the room in Torn works damn good, because I'm moving a piano, I'm moving these big couches, these refrigerators, gigantic grandfather wall clocks. I'm moving them all around, I'm stacking them on top of stuff, and they don't clip right through each other. They stack. The physics behave relatively realistically. That's where I'm giving Aspire Media some credit here, because I think the physics work great. I think the voice acting, although you might not like some of it, is crystal clear. The production values are there. I think Talbot is an interesting character. I know you guys don't like this female, this actress that's doing the female voiceover. You're not a fan of that. It doesn't irritate me as much, but I think part of that is probably because you guys already warned me and I was expecting it to be really bad. But I'm enjoying Torn. It's just it's a bit simple, you know. The puzzles are the nice thing about this is I don't think you're going to be banging your head against the wall with this game. So I mean, that's a bonus in a way, right? The Rex Terra is checking in. Darn, I'm late again. Crap, all work and no VR makes Rex a dull boy. Yeah, you gotta find a little bit of time to give yourself some VR action. That's why an Oculus Go comes in handy for a 20-minute burst of VR wherever you are. I've never, I've thought about if I went to work, would I take my Oculus Go with me and pop into VR for like 10 minutes during a work break, or would that be the ultimate nerd of all time in my cubicle, you know, doing that? Martino Movie says, sometimes it's hard to find the circuit after you've trashed the room with your magic wand. Yeah, that is definitely a factor. You will, like, who did the wine bottle thing? I mean, how many wine bottles were you pulling out, looking at the back of your wine bottle, tossing it over here, pulling it out, looking at the back of your wine bottle? I mean, I was doing those wine bottles in the wine cellar rack, and at first I didn't realize, okay, so you stick the wine bottle in, but you got to turn it. You got to turn it to activate it, because that was one time where I was stuck, because I just didn't realize, oh, you got to turn it, and then it activates it, and then it's like, and then you activated the circuit, now it's working, you see all the green lines, everything is good, then you get to move on, you get to go to this in-between world where Talbot exists, where he's stuck, he's like an AI consciousness, and you know what, almost going a little bit on a side rant about VR and AI, this is really going to be an interesting time in entertainment, because we have virtual reality and we have AI coming together at the same time, and that is going to be freaking spectacular, especially like about 30 years from now, when we have truly legit AI that is really advanced. Because imagine, guys, you're going to be in these VR worlds with another character, and imagine when that character can really hold a legit intelligent conversation with you, but as they're conversating with you, they also know what's going on in the game and where they want you to go in the game, but they can hold a legit conversation with you. Terry Blanchard says character voice recognition in games. See, that's where we're really far behind. The voice recognition still isn't there. We can't have a conversation with a character, but in the next 20 years, we are going to have conversations with characters. They're going to have AI far advanced beyond Alexa and all those kinds of things. And that's why it's cool to interact with an AI character like Talbot and stuff, although you don't really have like legit back and forth interactivity. But I just kind of like this vibe of like AIs and consciousness that's like stuck in a computer and stuff like that. And that's kind of what Torn deals with in terms of like the story, although I'm not very far in the story at all. But I don't know. I like this game. I recommend Torn. If you're looking for a new game, you want to buy a new game this week, I recommend Torn. However, I'm not going to put it up there with Red Matter. Like if it was Red Matter or Torn, I would actually say Red Matter. And if it was Torn or like the Gallery 2 Episode 2, I would probably say the Gallery 2 Episode 2. But I'm liking Torn. It's cool. If the puzzles were maybe a little bit more complicated or intricate, and maybe I'll get there. It's supposedly a 6 to 8 hour experience. I'm barely scratching the surface. I like the environments. I like the detail. Everything that you pick up and you examine has pretty decent detail. That's pretty nice. You know, one thing I noticed in the game yesterday, and this is really weird, and it's very synchronistic. Do you guys remember yesterday when I was talking about my CRT monitor, my Sony, my cathode ray tube? Well, I was in Torn. I was in this one part of Torn, and I was picking up this computer monitor, or this like CRT monitor that was in the world of Torn. And Talbot, the little AI thing, actually made a comment about cathode ray tubes and stuff. It was really bizarre that I was just talking about that day on our show, and then later I'm playing Torn and he's mentioning cathode ray tubes. Like, what are the chances of that? That was kind of spooky. It was kind of weird, but I am liking Torn. Jim Hall says, so much going on in the field of AI, more now than ever, humans becoming less useful every day. Yeah, but you know what? Here's the good side, Jim. The good side is, as humans become less and less useful, a possible future that we could envision is kind of the future of Logan's Run, basically. If you go to the movie Logan's Run, the original Logan's Run movie, which they never made a remake of Logan's Run, and that is just criminal, absolute criminal. But if you go to Logan's Run, they're living in a world where their robots are so advanced that they can harvest all the natural resources and provide food and do everything. And basically people don't work. There's no work. People live in the world of Logan's Run. Yeah, you can be like the fat people in WALL-E. That's another example. That's a different direction. In Logan's Run, everybody was fit. Of course, everybody was also under the age of like 32 or something. It's like as soon as you turn 32, you're dead. You know, you have this little crystal that was on your hand. Again, if you guys haven't peeped out Logan's Run, although it's a really old movie, terrible special effects compared to like what we have now. But yeah, that's what we could be looking at. Our robot overlords basically take care of everything, and we just kick it in VR all day long. Or a pod in the Matrix, yeah, and we're just batteries, all VR all the time. Honestly, it kind of seems like that might work out, and we might be cool with that. We might be cool with being a Duracell battery. If you give us a really good Matrix, you know, we might be okay with that. But yeah, that's kind of the AI thing. Let me go ahead and throw on a different trailer here, and I'll try to see if we can find any news. You know, one thing we could talk about for a second. Let me get this here. Okay, let's see if I can open this up. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. This is 11 or maybe 10 seconds of Stormland. Let me see if there's volume here. 10 seconds of Stormland. Ten seconds, baby. Yeah, so that is 10 seconds or 11 seconds of Stormland gameplay. This is something that happened while I was in Hawaii, and I never commented on this. And the only thing I want to say about this is Stormland. Oh my God, I want this game so bad. This is my AAA VR game. Everybody out there, you all have to have one game that you place above all others. What is your single most wanted VR game? And I know it's kind of cheating for me to say my single most wanted game is Stormland, because we're talking about Insomniac Games. We're talking about a developer that has made like 4 or 5 VR games already. So they have tons of experience in VR. They are a legitimate AAA studio with tremendous chops. They're about to come out with Spider-Man on PS4, which if you're ever going to play a flat game, you know, if you're going to run to Redbox and rent Spider-Man 4 for a day, I don't blame you. It's something I might consider just to see what it looks like. But we're talking about Insomniac Games, Stormland. You're a robot. You're on an alien planet. You can see it's got some inverse kinematics going here. Your robot hands, your robot arms. Very much looking forward to Stormland. Super excited about that. That's only 11 seconds though, so we can't really chew on that too much. I'll throw on a regular Stormland trailer for a second while I take a look at chat. Okay, Logan68 is speaking about Logan's Run. He says Logan's Run wasn't bad in the sex room, LOL. Yeah, and you know, the kind of crazy sex stuff that they showed in Logan's Run. Like, why is there not a remake of Logan's Run? It could star, you know, who could be in it? I know freaking Scarlett Johansson could be like the lead character, the girl in the movie. But Logan's Run was a really good movie. Martino Movie says, I'm psyched for Fisherman's Tale because I loved Form and Arizona Sunshine. No, you're mixing up your developers. Okay, Vertigo Games is, I believe, the publisher of the Fisherman's Tale, but the developer is Inner Space VR. The developer of Form is Charm Games. They're coming out with Twilight Path. So is Twilight Path the game you're psyched for, or is it Fisherman's Tale? Because it's Inner Space VR. Let me look up Inner Space VR. I know they've done some other games, and I can't remember what they did. Hold on one second. Let me do a quick check of Inner Space VR. I think they might have done something that wasn't actually a game. It was like something else. Well, yeah, they did Firebird LaPierre. They did Firebird, The Unfinished, Firebird LaPierre, and that's what they've done. And now they're doing A Fisherman's Tale. And so since we're talking about Fisherman's Tale, I can go ahead and grab that trailer. We do have the Fisherman's Fisherman's Tale trailer somewhere up in here. Let me see. And, you know, somebody was talking about how they played A Fisherman's Tale. It might have been Upload VR. See, Inner Space VR is the developer here, published by Vertigo Games.
The puppet lived a simple life inside a model lighthouse, with everything in its place. In the center of the room, a perfect model of his own little lighthouse.
I don't know, man. I mean, this trailer doesn't... It's kind of like, okay, you're going inside the world, inside the world, inside the world, inside the world. Like, that's kind of cool. But I don't know what... But I've heard people that have tried this. Like, some people have actually played this, and they've said it's pretty freaking incredible. Okay, Phil Urn has to go back to work. Phil, I want you to report to us when you have your work break, and then report to us when you go to the bathroom, and then report to us when you go down the street to get your Subway sandwich. Let's see. Martino Movies. My bad about the developer. You're right. Still excited about Fisherman's Tale. Okay, so yeah, Fisherman's Tale. Although if you do like Form, you know, keep your eye on Twilight Path. That is still coming out. And actually, speaking of Twilight Path, the developer of that game, Charm Games, gave me some preview code to Twilight Path, and it has passed embargo. Other people have talked about it. I've played it, and I have enjoyed it. Actually, let me go ahead and grab a Twilight Path trailer real quick. I can talk about. I was going to save this for like I was going to try to get some more videos and stuff on this, but let me throw a Twilight Path trailer on, and I'll talk about my take on Twilight Path so far. This is an exclusive for fans of Charm Games. From the creators of Form. Yeah, so that is Twilight Path, which is supposedly coming this year. See, they had a date of summer 2018. So Twilight Path could be there. There's a newer trailer for that as well. Let me grab the newer trailer. I don't know how much different it is. It's pretty much probably mostly the same thing. But Twilight Path this is a game that will probably arrive maybe October, November, maybe December. So pretty much a fourth quarter release probably. Didn't make the summer release, but I have tried this. The very first time I went into it, I was having lots of problems. Like it was all kind of like not working right, but it was just some random thing. And then I went to Hawaii. I actually got the code for this. Seriously, guys, Charm Games sent me an email with the code for this game like the night before I left for Hawaii, and I was like, oh man, Twilight Path, and then it's going to be released from embargo at a certain time, blah blah blah. So I hopped into it real quick. I was even maybe going to make a quick fast show to talk about this while I was on Hawaii, like save it for like the Wednesday or something where I'd talk about Twilight Path. But I went into it and I was having problems. It didn't really work right. So then I get back from Hawaii, I kind of almost completely forgot about Twilight Path, and I was like, oh my god, Twilight Path. I played it again and it worked absolutely perfectly fine. And basically this is another puzzle game. It reminds me of The Gallery episode 2. It reminds me of Torn a little bit as well. This is another puzzle game, but it's high production values. These are the guys that did Form. I mean, you know, these guys got chops, and so you're solving various puzzles. You have characters. It's a magical world. It has its own little story. It's pretty enchanting. I need to play the preview version that they gave me a few more times, get a better feel for it, and I'll report back on it more. But I am liking what I'm seeing with that. So that is Charm Games. They have Twilight Path, and then Inner Space VR is A Fisherman's Tale. So these are the two games that people are talking about in chat, or actually really you guys were talking about Fisherman's Tale, and I'm talking about the other one, Twilight Path. But I just wanted to mention that because I did try that. But let's see. Crunchy says, I wonder how much gameplay Fisherman's Tale has. And he's also saying, are you confined to that one room in the lighthouse? T-Dub says, within a lighthouse, etc., etc., etc. It'll mess with your mind. Inception VR. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I don't know what the gameplay is for this. I really don't. I do know, though. Let me see if I can look at Fisherman's Tale on Upload VR, because I think they had a story about it. Didn't they? Let me see. I think they had a story about it where they tried a demo and they were just freaking raving about it. And I'll see if I can get... oh yeah, Gamescom 2018, A Fisherman's Tale completely blew my mind. So this is Jamie Feltham from Upload VR, and he says, remember when you were a kid and you'd make shadow puppets projecting a massive finger onto your ceiling that you'd pretend to prod yourself with? Or how about when you stare at a map of your country and imagine squishing yourself with your own fist? Fisherman's Tale lets you do that in VR, and it's one of the most mind-boggling experiences I've had. So yeah, it kind of sounds like you're like peering within a world, within a world, within a world, and it's like, I mean, that seems like it would make my brain hurt. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So supposedly, according to Jamie Feltham, this is one to keep our eyes on, A Fisherman's Tale, which, let's see, what's the date for this? I think it's another fourth quarter game. It's just later this year. It's a fourth quarter 2018 release. So that is A Fisherman's Tale. Oh, Cyber Shoes. Is there a video for the Cyber Shoes? I did read about Cyber Shoes. I saw that. It's these shoes where you like sit down, but you're like sitting down. Like, who wants to sit down with shoes? I want to stand up with shoes. Cyber Shoes VR. I did hear about that. Yeah, here it is. Fallout 4 being played on Cyber Shoes. Okay, let's grab this trailer. Good one. Whoever mentioned that in chat right now. Good reminder, because yeah, this is a goofy thing to talk about real quick. Let's grab this video. Okay, have you guys seen those Cyber Shoes, the $200 omnidirectional treadmill alternative? Yes, I have seen these shoes, but the crazy thing about them is you sit down. You're sitting down in a chair. So what does that solve? Because I don't want to sit down when I'm playing a VR game, at least not if I'm playing a VR game where I'm supposed to be surrounded in the world. I like standing up. I like the immersion of being in VR. And so that's my problem with these Cyber Shoes. But regardless, let's go ahead and check out this trailer and see what it's all about. You know, it's nice exercise, though, for your calves and stuff, right? I guess your thighs, too. Crunchy says the people who tried it says it increased immersion a lot. Well, if you're going to sit down and play Fallout, this is a better way of sitting down and playing Fallout. But you know what increases my immersion? Going like this. You know, walking around physically. That increases my immersion. Virtual Reality Oasis tried these in one of his recent videos. Mike tried these. I wonder what he had to say about it. It's just, I mean, you're sitting down, you know, you're sitting down. I don't want to sit down. I don't want to sit down and pretend like I'm running. They should have cyber knees where you just anchor your feet down to the ground and let your knees do the walking. We need all kinds of cyber stuff. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's certainly a unique idea, and I guarantee you when you are sitting down, that is nice for exercise too. They should just make a game where you're just jogging and you're jumping over stuff. It could just be a straight up exercise game. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and just try to see if there's any more news going on. Let's bounce over to the Oculus subreddit and see what everybody is talking about. Oh, holy smokes. Something I forgot about, ladies and gentlemen-bots. Something I forgot about. I have breaking news. Oh my goodness. Subnautica Below Zero. Those of you that are huge fans of Subnautica in VR, it appears we might have a new game, Subnautica Below Zero. Now, this isn't guaranteed for VR, but you know it's going to have some VR support. And these are just some like artistic renderings of what they think it's going to be like, but it's obviously this alien Arctic world. So you probably crash land on a completely new planet. It's like an icy ocean with icy weird creatures. Subnautica Below Zero. looks freaking super cool, and I am a freaking huge fan of Subnautica. I love Subnautica. Subnautica is one of these games that I really got into for a very brief period of time, and then freaking forgot all about it because I've have to move on to all these other games. But if I was like a regular everyday citizen, you know, if I didn't have any show like this, I'd probably just be playing Subnautica every day. It would probably be sickening. But that's pretty much what would probably happen. So that is Subnautica Below Zero. Who of you guys out there have not played Subnautica? Because get this game, get it on a cheap price somehow, some way, and jump into the ocean. It's freaking magical. Subnautica is awesome. I was scared of Subnautica for the longest time because I thought my graphics card couldn't deal with it. You know, because I heard all these horror stories about, you know, don't even try Subnautica, like, but, you know, Unknown Worlds Entertainment, right? Like, people would say, don't even try Subnautica. And then I was thinking, well, goddamn, I've got a 970. If I have a 970, then maybe I shouldn't even try Subnautica, you know. And so I never tried it for the longest time. I'm seeing if I can just find a standard Subnautica trailer. I thought I already had one. Let me just do a search. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my Subnautica video, and I'm not seeing a trailer here. But anyways, this is a new game that will be coming from Unknown Worlds Entertainment. Now, again, we don't have like actual screenshots and stuff. These are artistic renderings. So this is a 2019 release. This game is way the hell out there, so no need to get super excited onto it. Main Fan says, I wasn't into Alien Isolation in VR, but Subnautica was another story. And Alien Isolation, like, please stop bringing up these incredible games that I haven't been able to play in a long time, because I got to play Bout of Blood, and I got to play Torn, and I got to play the newer stuff, you know, to give my takes on that. But Paradise Decay says he joined their Discord to give some support for the new Subnautica chapter. Yeah, everybody, and Jay Benson says, I love Subnautica, but I hope they fix the controls for VR. The controls, as busted as they may be, I fight my way through those controls. So I don't know, maybe I just haven't gotten further along into Subnautica where the controls really become a major irritant. Because I've been able to pretty much, well, I mean, it's just a controller, right? I'm using like a corded controller, and I'm just standing up. You know, I'm standing up, and I'm turning around like this, and I'm just playing with a 360 Xbox 360 corded controller, I believe, for Subnautica, right? I mean, it would, think how awesome it would be if they had legit motion controls for Subnautica when you're in the game as well. I mean, that's another thing. But yeah, this one, we don't even have confirmed VR support, but you got to imagine it will. Okay, so yeah, I forgot about that. I knew I had one other little news story that I had to mention, and it was Subnautica. But let me throw on some kind of random trailer here, and I'll go and see if there's any other news to peep out. This is that Echoes game that's coming to PlayStation VR. But let's see here. Back to the Oculus subreddit. And so, yeah, Subnautica Below Zero is definitely a hot topic there. They're talking about VR headsets among best-selling back-to-school items for the first time. That's kind of weird. Because I think VR can be an educational thing. Like, absolutely. Like, there's no question VR can be incredibly powerful from an educational standpoint, especially something like Google Earth is, you can learn geography really well with that tool, and I wish they had it for like the Oculus Go, because that would be a great advertisement for the Oculus Go from an educational standpoint, but it's not really there yet as an educational item. Let's see what the comments are in this thread about VR headsets being back to school hot sellers. Yeah, they're talking about the crappy cardboard versions, so it's really, I don't think it's really even about education. And Puppy Chef Academy, we already checked that out. That looked lame as far as I was concerned. VR transforms cinemas for moviegoers in China. This looks kind of interesting. But I'd have to try to grab this video here. But yeah, that looks really weird. They got a bunch of people in pods wearing headsets. Some crazy stuff going on there. Let me go ahead and check the PSVR subreddit real quick. See if there's any breaking stories here. Again, PSVR subreddit is basically all firewall all the time. I mean, literally, if you look at like the top 12, 14 stories on the PSVR subreddit, it's all freaking firewall. There is only one other story, though, that is not firewall. And let me see. Let me grab a trailer here because we do have a date for a game that has been announced for PSVR. So I'll go ahead and throw that trailer on and we can talk about this real quick. Just take a sec here. Let me go back to chat. Okay, Octoman says, I think VR belongs on rails for now. What do you mean by that? Chebby says, I'm scared of getting eaten in Subnautica. See, I haven't gotten to the part of Subnautica where everybody gets freaked the hell out. Like the part that I was in, I mean, I barely scratched the surface. The part that I was in was all colorful and nice. I didn't get into the super scary area of Subnautica. MameFan says it took him about 60 hours to finish Subnautica. Oh my God, that is incredibly long game. Hybrid Energy says that's what Robo Recall was supposed to be, talking about, I guess, VR belonging on rails, maybe. Octoman says, I feel like Bullet Train was better. Octoman says, yeah, Google Earth VR is amazing. We really need to have Google Earth VR for Oculus Go, though, but I don't know if they could do it very good. But yeah, let me go ahead and throw on a new trailer. It's not a new trailer. It's actually an old trailer. But we have a date. This is Downward Spiral for PlayStation VR. September 18th. So if you are a PSVR player, this is coming from Third Eye Studios. So that's Downward Spiral, Aura Station, which is coming to PlayStation VR. Not quite spring, but it is coming September 18th to PlayStation VR. Probably $19.99 for this game. This is one I've never played. I've never played this. This is one of these games. It's funny because I play so many freaking games, and this was kind of a big game, but it slipped through the cracks. I never played it, and now that it's like an old, you know, it's not like the new hotness anymore, and I haven't really heard people like rant and rave about it. I've mostly heard that it's pretty decent. Like, I don't really hear that it's like a terrible game, but I don't really hear people ranting and raving about this either. And now that it's an older game, I kind of just let it go. But that is Downward Spiral Aura Station, and it is coming to PSVR on the 18th. So, I mean, we got a lot of games that are coming in September. If you're a PSVR owner and you don't have a Vive or a Rift, this is another game that could be pretty cool. You got Unearthing Mars 2 coming in late September as well. You got Apollo Creed coming on the 25th. I mean, just a lot of stuff is happening. Transference is coming on, I believe, the very same day. September 18th. So September is actually pretty fucking awesome. Whatever happened to Space Junkies? Space Junkies is, as far as I know, it is coming this year. It's still coming this year, but we don't have a date for it. My guesstimation would be the month of October. It won't be too long, and we'll hear an announcement, a Space Junkies announcement with the official date. Maybe we'll hear it at Oculus Connect 5. Sometimes some of these things might be held for Oculus Connect 5 just to have like, oh, this was revealed at Oculus Connect 5. Here's Space Junkies. Hybrid Energy says, Transference is what I'm waiting for now. Hybrid, are you more hyped on Transference than Stormland? Or is Transference your most wanted 2018 game? There's Jason Statham in the corner. We never knew he was such a VR supporter. Movie Man 2047 says, do you use your theater for PSVR? I use this for all my VR games. I don't use this as a theater anymore. There is a screen over there, and I did have a projector that was right up here. But when I got my HTC Vive, I was playing all these different Vive games, and I was like swinging my controllers around like this, and I knew I was going to smack one of my controllers on my projector because I got really short ceilings, and then the projector was coming down as well. So super easy to smack the projector. So I decided to take the projector down, and then I got so hooked and addicted to VR that honestly, looking at a flat screen just doesn't do anything for me anymore at all. So I let my projector go. Because my projector was mostly used for playing like Xbox One games and PlayStation 4 games. And when I was more of a PC gamer, that was my when, you know, Fallout 3 with all these high texture mods and stuff. That's what I was using my projector for back at that time. And so I don't really care about the projector stuff anymore, really, because in my living room, we got a Sony 4K TV it's a really big Sony. So it's like if I want to watch Netflix or a Blu-ray or something like that, I just go in there and watch it. And this is pretty much turned into a VR room. I sometimes do use my speakers, though, especially for something like Beat Saber. Or if there's any VR game that is like 100% front facing for the most part, I will switch my my Oculus, you know, where the front facing is, I'll switch it to face in that direction, and I'll play like Beat Saber or like Space Pirate Trainer or anything where you're like really faced in one direction, like Time Carnage, and I will crank the volume really high with my loudspeakers, and I'll take off the little Oculus earbuds, and that is super awesome for VR. If you guys have never tried this with something like Beat Saber or Time Carnage or anything that's front facing, try playing the game with some big house speakers with no headphones. It's a lot cooler too in the summertime. Not cooler like, oh, that's so cool. No, it's cooler, less heat in the summertime if your ears aren't covered. And you actually take the little Oculus headphones right off of there and you just have open ears. That is great for playing stuff like Beat Saber. Absolutely. All right, well, I'm just going to see if there's any last-second stories, and then we'll bounce out of here. Kind of a shit show today. That will happen on occasion. Let me check Road to VR. We got off to a really slow start today, and there was some definite dead air. My apologies for that. Yeah, nothing much is going on. You know, Creed Rise to Glory pre-orders are now live. There's no reason to pre-order anything. I mean, I don't know why. I take that back. There is reason to pre-order hardware. Hardware I pre-order. Software, why would you pre-order software? What is the advantage of pre-ordering software? Unless you're doing it on Amazon and you're getting like a $10, you know, if you're buying a $59.99 game or whatever and you get like $10 off to pre-order, okay, I understand that. But other than that, there's no need for pre-ordering software. Doesn't make sense. Let's go to Upload VR. Any last second stories going on here? Yeah, no. I mean, Oculus is bringing Windlands 2 to PAX West. Sony is going to have a demo. Sony is going to be at PAX West. Let me see if I can. Sony blog. This is actually a story that Paradise was telling me about. but Sony is going to be at PAX West showing off like Trover, a lot of different PSVR games, Dreams. This is in Seattle, Washington, okay, between August 31st and September 3rd. I would love to bounce up there to Seattle real quick because they are going to have Dreams, Falcon Age. Those are 2 PSVR games. They're going to have Astrobot Rescue Mission. They're going to have the PSVR version of Beat Saber, which I think will probably come in October with a physical version and a digital version. They're going to have Blood and Truth there, Creed Rise to Glory, Evasion, Tetris Effect, and Trover Saves the Universe. So is anybody in Seattle? If you are, you should really bounce over here and check this out. This is going to be in, you got to be in the actual Washington State Convention Center at booth numbers 103, 109, 203, and 209. And then the other thing is you could actually get some hands-on time with Stormland for Oculus, and this is not inside PAX. So you actually don't even need to have PAX tickets. Unfortunately for this, you do need PAX tickets. You actually need to go in there and hope to get a chance to play Dreams or Falcon Age or Astrobot or Blood and Truth. Man, I'm trying to think, if I had to wait in an equal line for all of these games, which game would I be most hyped on? Maybe Astrobot, but no, you know, I probably know how Astrobot is going to play, so probably Blood and Truth. Probably Blood and Truth. I'd be very curious to see what Dreams looks like, but I would probably play Blood and Truth. And then Stormland, yeah. Jay Benson says, is Torn only PSVR right now? No, Torn is on the Vive. It's on the Rift. You can get it on the Oculus Store. You can get it on Steam. I think it's on sale. Let me take a quick look on the price. Torn on Steam. I think there's a slight discount because of the launch. Its recent launch. Yeah, it's $25.49. That's US price. $25.49. It is 15% off. And I recommend it. I honestly recommend it. If you've already played Red Matter, if you've already played The Gallery Episode 2, if you've already played Talos Principle, if you want another puzzler, adventure kind of a game with very simple puzzles. So you got to understand that there's very simple puzzles. There is some jank, some weird camera, like automatic camera movement glitchiness that does go on. But I think the physics are great. I think the audio quality great. Production value really good. So I am a fan of Torn. But anyway, guys, I've been going way too long. I need to bounce out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, another show at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Friday. So we'll see what's going on then. Let me go ahead and pop on my outro. And I will check everybody out tomorrow. So yeah, go ahead, check out the website. You know, on the website, the top 20 most wanted PSVR games, the top 20 most wanted HTC Vive games, top 20 most wanted Oculus Rift, the top 40 for all three of those, all has been updated on the website. So go to vrgamerankings.com, and then on the right hand side, go to most wanted, click on that. All of those lists have been updated, and there's been a lot of recent movement. Some new games have jumped way up, some other games have jumped way down. It's kind of interesting to see a list of all the heat that is coming later this year or very early in 2019. You'd be surprised how many good games are still on the way. You can even check out the top 50 most wanted overall games across all VR platforms, the primary gaming platforms that is, and a top 20 overall with all the various platforms. So go ahead, check that out. Definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, and do all those sorts of things. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Take it easy. Later.